for some hot Hellblade 2 takes, some hot food takes, and some Mr. Badbit rants tonight, boys.
I mean, I got some hot takes on Hellblade.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast,
is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days.
Hosted by a group of best friends. If you'd like to find out more, visit nerdchatmedia.com.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
ASMR. For our audio listeners, he's opening a Coke, putting it in the ballerina cup.
He's about to spill it all over his PC.
Guys, is there anything more refreshing than an ice cold Coca-Cola? Sponsor of tonight's stream.
Oh, we got sponsors.
Oh, hello, DaddyDWALLY here, and welcome to the Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Joining me, as always, is Chipotle Bear, aka Jin Sakai, is my homeboy.
Oh, saucy
Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'm great, man. At school today, official last day with students at my school. So I'm not done with work. I still have several weeks of work, but get to start wearing shorts to work. You know, it's a much more comfortable time. Lots to do. So feel pretty good right now, and excited to talk about some games, of course, to have a special guest, which we'll talk about in a second, but happy to be here, man.
And joining us as always, too soon, Bacon. Colorado sports suck. Bacon Gaming, how are you?
Well, our Nuggets and our Avs fall in the same freaking week. It
back to back, right?
Right. And I don't want to hear from Todd Oxtra. Todd, I'm pulling for Minnesota. I have deep ties with players that are on your team. I'm pulling for Minnesota to win the whole thing, but then they go and lose to Dallas last night. I mean, you guys are it's like schizophrenic. Like you belong in Hellblade, but that's it.
And joining us again, he was officially invited this time. He is not crashing the stream. Please welcome the founder, co-host, creator of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, Mr. Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit. Welcome to the show, Joe.
The voice of Katana deserved better than the Halo show. She deserved better.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Cortana was amazing in the first season.
She's great.
Non-existent in the second. What happened?
It's true.
Well, like
other stories.
Oh, Bacon.
God.
You're fired. Thank you. Oh, perfect, Jose. You're perfect. All right, we're going to go on, guys. We are recording on May 23rd, 2024. And tonight, get ready for hot takes on video games, hot takes on food, and a hot discussion on Hellblade 2 with Mr. Badbit. But before we get into it, guys, let's jump into some huge Nerd Chat shout-outs, Jose. Nerd Chat shout out number 1, and this is coming from Bubble Boy N7, boys. He is back. This is like 3 weeks straight.
I know.
Like, why don't we just
pick him up?
Get him.
Look, there's some people want to ride too. Pick him up.
Get him back, Bubble Boy. When are you coming back on the show? Joe misses you too.
Even a guest spot.
Bubble Boy said, "So how have each of you been enjoying the new Hellblade? It was literally one of the reasons I pulled the trigger on the PC." Ooh, we got some bad updates for you on that, Bacon. I felt like the first one did so much to earn my respect, and this was the best compliment I could give it. Well, Bubble Boy, I've got some thoughts on Hellblade, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. So just hold on to your butts. And Bacon, his game crashed like 4 times in a matter of like 5 minutes. We don't know what's going on with the PC. God, Jose is killing it. Promoted. Okay, jeez Louise. But Bubble Boy, we're going to get to Hellblade. That's what the whole episode is focused on, because Hellblade 2 is a win for gaming. Huge Nerd Chat shout out to Mighty Monk 2 days ago. Our clickbait title worked, you guys. Only responding to the title here. they already have it split regarding our should Xbox have two CEOs like PlayStation. Phil is CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Sarah is head of Xbox console platform ecosystem. And Matt Booty, is head of game studios. Sarah and Matt fill in the role of split CEO already and answer to Phil the same way Herman Game Studios and Hideaki console platform ecosystem answer to Hiroki Totoki. And to which I responded, we actually pointed that out on when we got to the topic. Our clickbait title worked. # see you online. So shout out to Mighty Monk. Yes, we agree with you that looked very similar to Xbox's structure, but we'll get into leadership later as well, because I'm sure Joe has plenty to say about that too. And our last shout out. Oh, this one hurts, boys. Big Box 1431 wrote in right after the Nuggets loss in Game 7 when they were up 20 points and the first team ever to lose when leading by that much. First team ever to lose, went up by 15 at the half. 20-0. Now they're 20 or 21-0. No, that's 21-1 with the Nuggets being the only team to lose in a situation like that. He said, "Dear Aaron Gordon, 42 minutes played, 4 rebounds, 4 points. DWALLY, please try out for the Nuggets next year and take that man's job."
He's too old, Todd.
Yeah. Todd Oxtra, specifically to Todd Oxtra, Big Box says, "I bend the knee."
Aaron plays bully ball. I don't know if
Take it away because I know my son is behind me. So yeah, defend Aaron a little bit because he had to defend a lot. Oh!
well, Aaron Gordon had some tough matchups.
Yep,
What just happened?
we
It's
don't
not
happen
even 5 minutes
every
into this
episode.
podcast.
Every episode, the boy
Every episode.
crashes it, and
Okay, so this is like
Yeah.
his shtick.
it's becoming a revolving thing. So
Hey, we gotta start hitting our kids again, I think. Yeah?
oh, that's fair.
Sorry, giving them punishments.
Specifically with Aaron Gordon had tough matchups, and he also drew Towns most of the time when he was on offense, which is taller, stronger, faster, more
He was
talented.
also a beast in the other games. Granted, he was terrible in that game. I'm not saying he wasn't, but he
Right.
killed
He was
it.
really
the
good
game
in the
prior.
Lakers series and
Yeah.
very important in the Lakers series. But yes, he was a no-show. Michael Porter Jr. was a no-show. It was the Nikola Jokic and the Jamal Murray show, and that was it. So,
Joe, I want to introduce you to a special person right now.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go, Joe.
Is it the dog
This
or
is
the-
Rocco, and he's our 7-year-old
Oh,
animal shelter dog that we just adopted, and he's
wants
such a
some
big
treats.
boy. He's so handsome, Joe.
he's very handsome. A good pup. That's a real good pup. I thought it was like he was gonna bring the boy on. So
I did too. I was like, here's my son
Boy,
Greyson.
like it's Dare or something, you know.
See you
I've
later,
been
Rocco.
smoking crack for 3 years, kid. You know, something like that.
All right, sorry for that interruption. My son just
No.
hit me with a samurai sword a bunch of
I-
times, and it really
I
hurt.
said we need to bring back, you know,
Corporal
Corporal
punishment.
punishment.
Yeah, corporal.
Oh,
Capital. That's
Trust
death.
me, it's back.
I mean,
It's back in this household.
yeah.
Real quick, Dan, before we move on, we do have one more shout out. I forgot to say this was a little bit of a secret from another fan that created this work of art for us last week. And here's the fun part. So obviously we can tell who Bacon is, right? And who I am, though I'm not sure my daughter has ever seen my face. But my favorite part is this is Dan here in the center with the red swoop. That is
I mean, to be fair, I think maybe they got it confused. Maybe I'm supposed to be where Bacon is. Look at, yeah,
so this is Bacon.
yeah, that's clearly Bacon, right?
She really got skin tones down perfectly.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, you're right.
this-
you're
That
right,
is
you're right.
This
I'll
is
take
just
that is bacon,
I like all the lighting coming in from the corners,
take
and like
right?
sun
I
shining
know.
on
She
it.
said she tried to find the sets for everyone. She's like, I don't know what your set looks like. I was like, it's the bar. It's literally where we live. Anyway,
Great shout out! Shout out also to my son who drew this for me with this awesome.
that's
Xbox
awesome, dude.
logo.
That's great.
So,
Oh,
shout out to Greyson for his artwork. I meant to show this weeks ago. So shout
Well,
out to our
Grayson,
children.
maybe you got to work on your lettering a little bit, bud.
What? You better
Damn.
bite your
what a
freaking.
critic over
You better
here.
bite your
Nope, sorry.
We only aim for
tongue there, Mr. Badbit. That's my
we only aim
son.
for perfection. in the Moran household.
Shout out to Aaron Gordon for his defensive. He's usually a good defender. I'm sorry. And shout out to Todd. We bend the knee, but you guys lost game 1. You better pull it together, Todd. So if you guys don't go all the way, you suck. All right, boys. Here we go. Let's jump into the news, Jose.
News team, assemble!
Oh boy, he had to hydrate for this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Cover your ears, kid.
Story number 1. Hellblade 2 is a win for gaming, and we need to celebrate this game. I am sick and tired of all of these journalists and all of these influencers and all of these content creators reviewing these games
Air quotes. Air quotes. He's
and
using
not
air quotes.
celebrating what they are, and instead complaining about what these games are not.
Are not, yeah.
I'm tired of it, Joe.
Flip it.
Not every game needs to be a God of War. Not every game needs to be a Fortnite. Not every game needs to be this huge financial success.
Yeah.
We should be thankful for these experiences. I don't think Hellblade 2 is this great game. I think it's a good game.
It's a good game.
But I enjoyed my experience with it. And I'm thankful that it was on Game Pass, because otherwise I probably would have skipped this. I would have skipped the first one. So I'm sick and tired of these Debbie Downers everywhere complaining about these great games that we get to experience and putting them down, saying, well, it doesn't do this, or, oh, I thought this was it. Yeah. I'm tired of it.
That's exactly what they sound like too.
Exactly.
I'm sick and tired of it, you guys. I really am. So we are not gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, Rocco. He's up there whining. We are not gonna devolve this conversation and talk about, oh, well, is this a hit for Xbox, or what if this is a failure? Is Ninja Theory gonna just be gone now? I'm tired of it. And Joe, what started this idea in my head? Was the clip. I'm sorry, we did not send this to you. It's a clip from Kinda Funny when they did their review. I don't know if you saw it. It says, is Hellblade 2 a win or loss for Xbox? And I got to shout out.
Title I'd click on.
I have to shout out Snowbike Mike, because he got pissed and was like
the dog right now?
Yes.
Exactly. The dog's angry. The dog's
and he's like
feeding on.
Why are we talking about, instead of talking about this game and celebrating it as a positive thing for Xbox, a positive game that Ninja Theory set out and they got to do what they wanted to do. This was what they wanted to do for Hellblade 2. And why are we talking about shareholders and whether or not this is a good thing for Xbox? And why does it always come back to Xbox having another mid game? I'm tired of it. My rant is over.
Do you have that clip of Snowbike Mike?
Oh yeah, it's really worth it to watch. It's 18 minutes. I'll send it.
It's 18 minutes.
Well,
yeah,
it's a lot.
I know. It's a lot, but there's a lot of context in there. But it's definitely worth your time, Joe.
Sure.
So guys, rant over.
Okay.
Who here has finished Hellblade 2?
Well, can I just say something?
Okay,
Can I
go
just
ahead.
say something?
Okay, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. Let's jump in. Go ahead. Sorry, rant over.
I play, so I'm waiting on Senua Saga 2 or Hellblade 2, just because some medical stuff happened, and so money that was going to go to the PC ended up going to those things because health is wealth. Don't worry, y'all. I'm all right.
That's right.
Yeah, patreon.com/PS Trophy Room.
Honest to goodness, we actually do need all the help we can get right now. But that aside, I don't currently have an Xbox, but I do love the first game. I played it during COVID. I tried it again. I was like, oh, wow, no, this is more than just an easy trophy. This is actually a legitimate, great game, a great story they're telling. And if it ends here, perfect. Here's the thing, though, and I've tried to say this on X a few days ago, which is like
Elon's X platform.
Yeah. I love Ghost of Tsushima. It's one of my favorite games of all time. The original on PS4 only rated at an 82. And I say only, but like there were sites that were down on it. You know, there were sites that gave it 60s and 70s, and even then 70s is not a bad score. But it's one of my favorite games of all time. I don't need to defend that game or go online and torch those publications because they're entitled to their opinion, right? They're entitled to hold whatever gripes or praises that they have for it and go, you know, this is how I feel about it. I can't rob them of that. You know, just because maybe these voices are in the minority in terms of what the audience feels that the score should be, or what social media audience feels like it should be, that doesn't matter, because their job is to critique the game, is to say, hey, how does this improve upon or build off of, you know, things like, you know, the original. And I think one of the things that I've been hearing, and I can't talk about it per se because I haven't experienced it, which is the combat. Because the one thing about the previous game that lacked was the combat. So when people go, oh, well, it's not supposed to be like, you know, God of War, whatever. It's like, yeah, but I think what they're trying to say is, hey, the one area that the original game didn't do great on was its combat. Now that you are infused with so much money, so much capital, you do have all the time. This is the game you want to make. Can we maybe improve upon that area?
But what if combat isn't what they want to do, Joe? Why?
Well, then don't put combat in your game. So, like,
to a certain extent, I could argue they didn't.
Right.
But so I can't do the tit for tat because I had to play it. But like, if that's their genuine gripe, and like it's not a gripe with you, so you probably leave that out of your review, or you talk about it going, hey, this is how the combat is, and I enjoyed it. But they don't have to like it because you do, right? And I think it always happens with an exclusive game, whether it's on PlayStation or on Xbox. We look at the number score and we go, whoa, why did you rate Ghost of 6? Why did you do this and that? But that's their opinion.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of games that like I've played that I adore, and they're not the game of the most of the time. My game is not the game of the year, and that is beyond fine.
Yeah.
You know, the last time my game was the game of the year was Overwatch 2. That's right. I liked it more than Uncharted. So like for me, it's like it is what it is. I just like this game. I don't need to fight for it because it's my experience, and you know, I don't need to defend my experience. The same thing where I hate Red Dead Redemption 2. I genuinely I think it you know, when people go, oh, Neil's up his own ass, I'd like to take the Hauser brothers and like go like, where have you guys been? Because like you know, there are aspects of that game that I do love, and I can see that there's greatness there in certain aspects.
That's
but
a hot take.
But the package overall is one that I don't enjoy. And you know what? I'm not here to I can go on a rant about how I don't like Red Dead 2. It's just like I'm the outlier, and that's fine. But that's my opinion, and I'm genuine about it. So, you know, I don't think games shouldn't just be celebrated because they exist, and devs shouldn't be celebrated just because they exist. There should be this level of respect that we're giving the conversation and those developers, and a little bit of a hint of a you know, little benefit of the doubt for some things, especially when we talk about certain aspects in games that we don't maybe fully understand, especially when like how does development work on A, B, C, and D, and we're just spitballing. So that's all I got to say on this. I have not played. I'm excited to, but you know, I've seen a lot of people take this as if it's like a personal like attack on their character, and it's like, let's relax. You know,
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but Joe, I'll come back to you. Do you think about the point where it goes to Xbox? Is this a win for them? Why does everything go bad? Think about that. Hold on to that. I'll come back to you, Jose. Actually, Bacon, give me your quick thoughts because you've actually played it the least too. Because it's, I agree with you, Bacon. It's intense, just like the first one was. Like I could only play it for so long. I have no idea how Jose played this straight through in one day. That's insane to me. I played it over about 3 play sessions. It was 9.5 hours. I got 1,000 out of 1,000. It will be an easy platinum if and when it comes to PlayStation. So shout out to Power Picks. They did a video on it for the collectibles, which was very helpful. But Bacon, tell me your thoughts around this game, just initial thoughts and a little bit to what Snowbike Mike said.
So the reason why I haven't finished the game, and it's absolutely nothing to do with the game, the developers or anything like that. I suffered a pretty bad trauma in 2010 when I was almost murdered on the job. And the amount of counseling and stuff I had to go through to get back on my job, and the nightmares and the night terrors and the sweats I was dealing with.
Bacon was an ex-Bacon, hence the name.
And I was the fire scene. I'm not going to need spoilers here, but pretty early in the game when it was one of the most visceral, dirty, nasty, violent parts of any video game I've ever experienced in my life. I had to turn it off after that. And that evening I had nightmares again, and I don't know if it's the game or just rehashing some stuff that I buried a long time ago.
I mean, there's a lot going on psychosis-wise with Hellblade, so I don't blame. It's not surprising to me.
I don't like the feeling I was getting.
Yeah.
After that game, so I determined I need to play it in like 1 hour stints in the middle of the afternoon. So I've been just playing Hades
without the headphones.
And it's. I mean, the amount of. I mean, I went through a lot. I went through over 6 months of intensive counseling with police.
I would say don't touch this game ever again.
And I was close, man. I was close.
And that's true, Bacon. You didn't finish Alan Wake 2. I feel like Alan Wake 2 is worse than Hellblade by a lot. I bring a lot of comparisons to Alan Wake 2.
I think it came down to when she was fighting with these dudes and the face-to-face struggle. It's pretty similar to what I dealt with that night, and it was face-to-face with pure evil and pure terror, and it just kind of triggered something with me. And so
don't ever play that game again.
I'm gonna try to.
I don't know, man.
I gotta celebrate what the game is, and what what Mike's trying to say in this is what they accomplished in this game, and the pure graphical fidelity. And this is the Matrix demo on crack. It is so. I'm a PC elitist. I max every setting out, and I even sat down during Cyberpunk, and I was watching stuff, and I'm like, this is cool. There are times in Hellblade when I stopped with my jaw on the floor. I have never in my life witnessed anything.
The photo mode too, Bacon.
Right.
Top notch photo. Incredible.
To add lighting where you want in that photo mode, and just the game is absolutely next level, but it is not going to be for every gamer out there. And not every game needs to be for every gamer. So, and the worst part is seeing all these reviews from these sites that gave the original 92s and 93s turn around and give this one a 48. Like, how do you?
Is it the same reviewer?
That's the thing. You'd probably not. And so,
it goes back to what Joe was saying though, and I got to give him credit. Like, they expect a little bit more, and I don't know if that's always fair. And because this goes back to Starfield, it's like it's a Bethesda. What were you guys expecting? Right. This is a Bethesda game. Not every game has to. I kind of push back a little bit, Joe. Like, I don't know if every game has to evolve. I think every game needs to do what the developers want to do with it. I don't. But sorry, Bacon, go ahead.
No, so even a game that's affecting myself and my mental health, like this game is, I'm still going to tell people to play it because it's an absolute marvel. It's something that needs to be witnessed.
Yes,
you cannot. If the coalition can touch what Ninja Theory's done in UE5 for the next
Gears,
are you freaking kidding me? And I'm not even going to say the coalition is better than Ninja Theory at using UE5. So I've gotten nothing but kudos for this game. It's a game I might not finish, guys, and it's absolutely for personal reasons and nothing to do with the game, nothing to do with
touch the game,
stuff like that. So, Sorry if I got a little dark.
No, you're good. We,
No,
thank
I
you
mean,
for sharing.
I-
We appreciate that, Bacon.
It's like my uncle who went to Vietnam, who's gonna he's like, I'm gonna go back on vacation. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So,
You're gonna
Jose,
have flashbacks, man.
yeah. Jose,
Don't do
before I throw
that.
it for you, I just wanted to say a quick review. And Todd's blowing up the chat. I love it, Todd. I'm going to get to a lot of your points in a second, though. Just quickly, this is what I said, Hellblade 2, my quick review. I said, best graphics I've ever seen in animations. Hands down. Nothing has come close to this. The facial animation, it looks real. I've never seen anything better than this. And I think you guys would agree. I like the fact that it didn't have any kind of UI. Once you're in, you're in. There's nothing in there. It's a straight widescreen format. It looks like you're acting out a movie. Incredible photo mode. We touched on that a little bit. I said, Bacon, PC, incredible graphic overlays. Like you see in real time, everything change as you toggle everything. Like I know it's a PC nerd thing, but I've seen so many people complimenting that. You can literally see your frame rate, how much it drops and goes up, and it's all real time because it's just changing it, the rendering as you're doing it. I said I did everything in about 9.5 hours, and I spent a lot of that in photo mode as well. I'm sure you could do it a little bit quicker. I said the combat was satisfying, but we'll get back to that in a second. And I said the last thing I loved about it, focused experience, not filled with bloat. This is their vision. You do it their way. And there's not these little extra side crap. You don't get overwhelmed. And yes, there's a lot of walking. So I said cons. I do wish there was more combat because it is fun when you get to do it. And did you ever die in combat, Jose? Like I don't, or was when you knocked down, was that
Twice.
dying? When you get knocked down and get back up, is that
Nope,
kind of like
that's not dying? I absolutely died.
Okay,
it
so
resets you.
I died a couple of times from the lava because I was in photo mode and then it like would reset, and so I just get hit by lava, and so that's what would kill me. But I never got killed.
Are you talking about in the volcano scene?
Yeah, it was hilarious. So we'll talk about there's some boss. Oh, I like the boss battles, but also another con. The puzzles exist.
Right.
I don't like puzzles.
I love the puzzles.
These aren't very good.
I agree.
They exist. And I said less walking. And I said maybe more fun platforming instead. I think if they added just jumping and platforming, that would improve the movement and the in-between combat scenarios. So I see Todd was asking, like, is the pacing go up more? Does,
No, it was Deja was asking that.
What you see in the first hour is basically the whole game.
Yeah, Deja did
better
the
or
first
worse.
one, so he's
So closing, I said it's an 8 out of 10 for me, a technical art piece. Game is not for everyone, but is an experience that everyone should try. And I really do believe that either Hellblade 1 or Hellblade 1 or Hellblade 2, it's worth your time, especially on Game Pass. These are unique experiences, and I'm so thankful we get to have them. Chipotle Bear, give me your quick thoughts about the game and the overall context with Snowbike Mike's. Should we be celebrating this as a win for Xbox?
I mean, I think we absolutely should be celebrating. And I've talked about this many times on the show. I'm not a good critic because there's some nature of my job and also my personal being that, like, I don't like criticizing things. That's just not who I am. I'd rather find the good in things. And so I typically tend to find ways to enjoy every game I've played, even the games that I don't finish. To the reason why I finished it in 7 hours, one playthrough. I stopped for lunch and to pee twice. Otherwise, I did not get up.
He's machine, folks. Insane.
But here's why. So I was kind of in between games. I had bought Tsushima, but I've never played Tsushima, Joe. I'm sorry. I haven't yet. I started it. We'll talk about that later. But I was like, I don't want to start Tsushima because I know I'm going to get into it. And I really, really want to get into it because I want to give it the respect it deserves. But I was like waiting for Hellblade. And it just so happened, like, I finished graduation last week. I had nothing on my calendar, and I had except for a couple of remote meetings, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to take the day off and get those meetings done, and I'll play all day. And so I literally like kissed my wife goodbye, and I literally like sat at my desk and was like, here we go. And I'll be honest with you, because I'm a relatively new PC dude as of like literally just January this year, I was excited to really, really push the limits with something that wasn't COD. And I'm not knocking COD. I certainly love COD and Battlefield and stuff, but something with like a cinematic quality. And so I was really, really, like, Todd, I have a 4070 Super. And so I was just in awe. Like, I really, truly, I understand it was slow paced. It is, like, no joke. There are parts of the game that felt really slow, but I honestly appreciated that because in my mind, I think they were trying to do was the same thing they did in Tomb Raider, the first one of the remakes, where, like, at the beginning of the game as Lara, you just get your ass kicked
Yeah, good
continually.
point. You need
And
a
you're like,
break.
and it's like you just can't, you're slow
Yeah.
and sluggish. And that's really how you start out as Senua. They explain why. I'm not gonna spoil that. But I really appreciated that that's the way that it felt sluggish, because it wasn't just like a let's get to your weapon, let's get to this, you know. And I was watching Matt Kennedy play his live on his stream a couple days ago, and he was like freaking out because he couldn't find his sword. And I was like, dude, just go, just flow, just roll with the flow. And so like I really, really appreciate the experience. I also knew that it was going to be a short experience, but I'll be very honest with you, I was still caught off guard with how short it was, because I remember distinctly getting the first totem. And then I went what I thought was just a little bit further of the game, and I found another totem, and like I'd missed 2 symbols already. And I was
I missed one too.
And I wasn't mad. I'm not upset about it even still today, but I was very,
Have you been finding the faces? The hidden faces?
I found some. But see, that's also why I finished in 7
those
hours.
were really cool, by the way.
It was not a completionist run. I purely was like, I'm going to play. If I find it, I find it. I'll do a little exploring, and when I'm done, I'll move forward. If I want to go back, I will. I haven't done that yet.
Do you have to play New Game Plus to get the plat?
No, you can do it in one.
You don't have to, but when you get New Game Plus, you can go to chapter based, and you can also
and you can also
certain things.
Nothing's missable, Joe, and you can easily do it in one playthrough. It's very good. One more thing, Joe, is that it had no, I'll tell you later. Go ahead, Jose.
No, you're fine. What I really appreciated the things I really want to just highlight. It is gorgeous, like stunningly, absolutely gorgeous. Like on not just on PC, but I've heard everybody say on Xbox it's gorgeous. Playing on my OLED here at my desk, like it just felt so good. And I love that it was seamless. Like legitimately, there are no loading screens. Like you just go from like action to like another scene. A lot of times it does go up to the clouds. Like that's how they manage some of that like thing, but it's pretty seamless. I also really appreciated the accessibility stuff, because one of the things that they present to you before you even start the game is like, hey, do you want to play normal? Do you want to play hard? Or do you honestly just want to watch? Do you just want to watch the game? And you can do that. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I do want to play, but I really appreciate that they gave that as an option.
Did you select the adjustable difficulty where it like adapts to you? I just did that. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but so I would, if that's the default, then I did. If not,
yeah, I saw it, but I went with medium myself.
Okay, so, I did the adjustable one. So go ahead.
And I think what I appreciated the most was like I turned on HDR, and just with my setup, like it was very dark a lot of the game. But again, I think that was a really specific art just like choice, and I really appreciated that. It was an awesome game. I'll be honest with you. I probably will never play it again. It's just not that kind of, it's like watching Schindler's List. Great movie, like an incredible film, but I never want to watch it again. You know what I mean?
I know someone who's going to be very mad at you for making that example.
Why? Who?
Jason Schreier. He yelled at someone once about that.
No, everyone should see it. It's a great film. It's a great film. But it's
I know. I think it's an apt comparison, but some people would be like, "How dare you?"
Okay. And I meant no offense. If I offended you, I'm sorry.
Stick up butt, man. Yeah.
It was a great game, man. I see the complaints. The combat. Yeah. Once you get it, it gets a little stale. Especially there are some scenes in the game where it's like it doesn't stop for kind of a long chunk, and I'm like, is it over? Nope, not over. Is it over? Nope, not over. That part was definitely challenging. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, I did die a couple of times, but I think what I really resonated with was like, it's an incredible story. Like I as much as I love Kyle, I don't really usually get that emotional at games. Like I enjoy them and I laugh and I have a great time, but like they don't usually hit my like emotional button.
I never cry during most things.
And I'm not gonna say I cried. I didn't, but there were a couple of times because one of the most amazing things they do about this game is the combat is very simple. There are exactly 2 moves that you have. And then a parry and a dodge. That's it. That's a 4-move set for the entire game. There's no special spells. There's no anything else. And that's not a spoiler or anything.
You have 1 power.
And well, kind of. But how do you play boss battles like that? Like just from a like standpoint, you think about that. Like how do you make a cool boss battle that's engaging? Only doing that, and they managed to do it very well. I actually like the
boss battles how they did it. It was
cool. And did you guys remember the demo that we saw from what was it? GDC last year, where it was in the cave, with the fire with the giant. When you get to that part in the game, that was one of my favorite sequences of the game. I just was like in awe of like that whole thing from a technical standpoint, from a fun standpoint. It was fantastic, man. So I really enjoyed it. Again, I have no intention probably to play it again, but it is absolutely worth everyone trying. And I think Dan is right. It's incredible that we got to try it for free. You know what I'm saying? Because I do see how someone paying $50, maybe a little upset. Definitely, maybe if they paid $70, especially like, and I'm not gonna throw bacon under the bus, but like, you might play it not knowing what you're getting, and then if you have things that come out and you're like, I couldn't even finish it, like you might feel slighted. I just really appreciate what Ninja Theory did, man. I think they tried to make it accessible to everyone. It's not a game for everyone, like Dan said, you know, and if you don't like it, that's okay, but you don't have to trash it either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So overall, man, I had a great time with it. I recommend it for everyone, but it is heavy, and it's
yeah. I like what you said about we don't have to play. You're not going to play it again. Yeah, I'm probably not going to play it ever again too. But I also only played Hellblade 1 once, and that was it. Like, it was an experience. I enjoyed it, and I moved on. And I can say the same about like Last of Us Part 2. I will never be playing that game again. I got the platinum. I'm like, I'm good. Like that's another example of a heavy game. So there's just some games that you just need to experience once, and that's perfectly okay. Joe, give me your closing thoughts about just everything we've been talking about. If you have anything you want to add to it.
Yeah. No, I listen, I can't wait to play this game when I'm able to. And I know what I want out of Hellblade. I think to go to your question before you went to the guys, which is like, you know, why does this question keep appearing when Xbox games launches or an Xbox game launches, right? Is this a win for Xbox? Every single game. And I'm PlayStation fan here, so you know, relax. But because like Xbox has not had a genre defining game or a moment in a really long time, and where you look at a PlayStation game or a Nintendo game, those games seem like they're events, right? They're in the zeitgeist for a few weeks before they eventually fade away. Whereas Xbox, at least popular opinion or the loud opinion, has not been able to have that moment, right? It's always marred by something. So, you know, for me, I think that's the reason why that question keeps getting brought up, is because they have not had that game that just goes, here's the big moment. It's like, you know, it is defining, you know, that genre. Like even for example, Halo, which it launched great, then it started tumbling down when it came to actually supporting the game with content, right? So like, you know, Starfield, right, comes out.
Well, it's funny you bring up Halo there, Joe, because Snowmike Bike did bring that up, and he's like, Halo was a great game at launch, and it was like. The content wasn't there in the long term, but those first 3 months, people were going crazy. Remember that Battlefield was even like, we didn't anticipate Halo being, you know, so amazing, and it was. And people just are so quick to forget. So sorry,
but I think when you have so many, when you've acquired so much, and you've made these grandiose promises to even your audience, you're like, okay, so now you're going to start like really delivering. Right. And again, mileage varies on that, but I think the common consensus is they haven't been. And that's the problem on a consistent level. So like, that's, I think, the problem that Xbox finds itself in, and the frustration that the fans have with coverage, because they're like, no. Like these games are like, it's like, you know, I feel like y'all kind of try to like justify why this game's actually really good and you should take it more seriously. And I think that's the gist of it at the end of the day. Whether those concerns are valid or not, that's just,
I would argue that they're not
what it seems to be the case, right? So that's why. But again, I'm excited for Hellblade. I liked Hellblade 1 a lot. I feel like also some people, like I was listening to Jeff Gertzman talk about it, and I actually just skipped that entire portion because he was just poo-pooing it, and then at the very end he's like,
I can't do that.
And then at the very end he's like, I didn't even really like Hellblade 1. It's like, well, you should have opened up with that. So then I hear you belittle this game, because the same exact hook is, you know, just because a game hits what they've intended to make doesn't mean it's good. True. Like Francis Ford Coppola just made Megalopolis. That's his vision. He self-funded it, and from all reports, it's a piece of shit. So like, just because it's their vision, it doesn't.
Thank you.
Oh shit!
We can explain. For adults,
but like, you know, that it just because that's their vision and they nail it, it's like, well, doesn't mean the vision's good. But I know what Hellblade's offering, or Hellblade 2 is offering, at least the feeling of, because I played Hellblade 1 and I really liked it. So chances are I'm going to really like this game too.
I would say it's definitely more of Hellblade 1. Guys, what do you think of the comparison of, I sent this to our chat, whether or not we should have titled it Alan Wake 2 equals Game of the Year, Hellblade 2 equals mid. Do you see any comparisons between Hellblade and Alan Wake, Jose and Bacon? Because I feel like there's a lot of artistic choices in both games. And I complained about, I was high on Alan Wake 2 at first, but then the more I played it, the lower it got, because there really isn't much combat in that game. There's definitely more than what's in Hellblade, but there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of puzzles. There's a lot of random information being thrown at you, a lot of audio work. It's technically beautiful as well. I just find it a little strange. So go ahead, Jose.
My only complaint about Alan Wake was the scene, like the parts in the room with like
that it
pictures
didn't
on
make
the wall.
any sense.
No, it made sense to me, but I was just like, at first I was like, this is going to get annoying real quick. And that's how I felt. I was fine with the story. I was fine with the walking. I was fine with
You're fine with the stupid ass jump scares.
Yeah.
The faces.
I knew what Alan Wake was going to be. I knew that's what the game was going to be. And it's not like my favorite game, one of them is Dead Space. I love Dead Space. But not everyone loves Dead Space. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt with Alan Wake. Like if you didn't know what you were getting into, that's a bummer, because like you see it as this like AAA game and people have, I guess, a perception of what that looks like. That's not what Alan Wake felt like. The second one, I mean, it felt like honestly more like a niche game, to be honest with me. And that's what I mean. Todd just said that in the chat too. Like Hellblade is a niche game. Like it's being touted as a AAA like game for everyone on Xbox, but that's not really what it is by design. I don't think that's what Ninja Theory meant it to be. I think that's something that we did by putting it on a pedestal, maybe because we wanted the win, maybe just because it is a technical marvel. The way that I looked at both Alan Wake and Hellblade in this, what you're getting at, Dan, is like, it's kind of like a piece of art. And I don't mean to steal that from Luke. If you haven't seen Luke from Expansion Pass's review on it, that's what his thing is. It's art incarnate. I agree that it's eye candy. It's meant to be beautiful and an experience. It's not necessarily meant to be like, this is my favorite game that I've ever played. And the same with Alan Wake. Like I enjoyed Alan Wake a lot. I really did. I thought it was very creepy. I liked the fighting stuff, but at the end of the day, you're a detective, man. You're trying to figure out a mystery. Like mysteries are not Wang Biz action in your face kind of thing. Like the whole time, that's just not how they're designed. So that's what I think.
What about, and I just looked up, what do you guys think the Walking Dead series got on OpenCritic?
Like the Telltale games?
Which, keep in mind, everyone, you are literally barely moving from one spot to another and pressing one of 4 face buttons. That's about it as in terms of gameplay in that game. Season 1, one of the greatest ever. I'm pretty sure Kyle and I will cry every time we just think about that ending of season 1 in The Walking Dead, the Telltale series. Think about that gameplay. Think about how long. Those are about 6 hours, right, per episode, if that. What do you think that OpenCritic is sitting at?
I'm going to assume 89.
I watched the clip, boys. I watched the clip.
85. Thank you. And then another about 8-9 hour game, highly celebrated. Some say this is the best of the series, Uncharted Lost Legacy. A lot of walking. There are a few combat scenarios, puzzles. What do you think that's sitting at on Metacritic right now?
That's good.
Sony, so it's 100.
84 on OpenCritic. I'm just saying there's a lot of cutscenes. It's graphically beautiful. It is a lot of puzzles, very few combat encounters in that.
Very few.
I'm just trying to say that they're, compared to the others, yes. Also,
but it's a DLC.
It's not. That's like probably in a direct comparison. That's like a
standalone DLC.
Game. Miles Morales, another one. But anyway, I'm just saying.
Miles, I think is more apt. I don't like the one thing I will I think agree with the common consensus is like time equals good.
Or what about walking simulator equals bad? That's
right. Those two, yeah. Okay. And also I walked in again. I like that clip a lot. And I agree with some things that Greg says, but I also agree a lot with Mike. For the first time in a long time, he actually made a point worth a fucking damn. That being said, sorry. But time doesn't mean good, and walking sim does not mean bad. You need to you need to tell your audience what to expect, and if that is the thing, they should expect it, right?
I feel like Hellblade 2, if you played the first game, like you said, I don't know how you're confused.
Well, I think they did a really good job, and this is, again, maybe you could blame the lack of marketing, because the one thing that I saw that they hit out of the park with was just like, hey, this is about the same amount of time as Hellblade 1, just so you know. And then we had the bullshit narrative, which this is what I will go to bat with them for. Same, and it's now 50. It's like, okay, understandable on one aspect. The original game was $30. This is $50, but let's give inflation a go, and it's only realistically $10 more. That said, though, the tech that they use is so, I mean, just looking at the trailers, which is half the game apparently, that's worth it. You know, so like, to me, I don't think time equal good game. I hate that too, because like Spider-Man Miles Morales, take out all the cutscenes, that's an 8-hour game.
Yeah,
Less.
or shorter. Maybe.
There are like 5-hour playthroughs on.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like 100%ing it. So like, it's a short game, but you know what? It's really fucking good.
It's damn
And
fun too.
I agree.
And it's fun.
I like.
So
that.
like, yeah, no, I would not compare though Lost Legacy to Hellblade.
Well, it's okay. Lost Legacy is the worst Uncharted. Sorry, Todd. I said it. Lost Legacy
What?
sucked. Lost Legacy was boring, and I hated having to get the platinum in that multiple times.
Lost him.
You can leave.
And
Joe.
Joe
That's
left.
fine.
All right.
We lost him.
Lost Legacy, the worst Uncharted. I will never talk about a boring game that I'd never want to play again. Moving on to news story number 2. We'll talk a little bit more about Hellblade later when we talk about what we've been playing. Let's move on to news story number 2, Jose. All right, he really is leaving. It's been there have been rumors, or there's a story. I don't remember who said it, if it was like Wall Street Journal or something. Anyway, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I believe is the official name, is coming to Game Pass. And we talked about this last week. I said, what's the big deal? Didn't we already assume this, Bacon, right? Like, wasn't this already said by Sarah Bond multiple times?
All right.
Is this even news? No, I don't think this is a big deal.
It's officially in print, though.
Is this going to sway the needle in any way for Xbox's favor?
I think it will.
I don't think it will at all, actually.
Oh, if you check the Amazon, it's the number one selling tech gadget on Amazon is a Series X.
Speaking of, is it going to sway? Todd, send us your poll results. I saw your poll on Threads. Send that in. I think you got 100 responses to will you buy it or get an Xbox for Call of Duty being on Game Pass. But I wanted to bring up some quotes for discussion here. And this is coming from Jeff Grubb, who refuses to come on the trophy room. He said, put Call of Duty on Game Pass and don't launch it on Xbox One and PS4. And if that doesn't move the needle on getting people to adopt to Xbox as they have to choose a next-gen device, then that's that. And which Matt Piscatella quote tweeted, this would be a bold choice. It might or might not work. Bet there are mountains of math and scenarios that have been internally discussed to death on this one. Regardless, this release is a huge moment for the Xbox brand, to say the least. Joe, it looks like you stuck around for this news story. You came back.
I had to get my chair because I almost fucking fell.
Jose, you almost fell. Okay, Joe, welcome back. Give me your thoughts. Do you think COD being on Game Pass is going to sway the needle at all? Because I don't.
No. Like, this is the part where I'll get a little doom and gloom on Xbox. It's actually this moment right here. This is a move that like I thought was always going to happen because it is a Xbox first party game now. So it goes on Game Pass. There's no discussion. There's no exception. I expect the next, World of Warcraft to be on PC Game Pass. Like, I expect future, Blizzard things to be on Game Pass. It does not matter how well those games sell, because they sell really well. That said, this is an existential crisis for the Xbox identity, right? Because when you take a look at what's happening over at the Microsoft the gaming division's doing really great. But when you take out the Activision equation, you see that, it's actually not doing well at all. Like, consoles are cratering, and profits are down, this, and the other thing. And shareholders are maybe not as dumb as what we always claim to be. And they're like Satya and Amy Hood somewhere over at Microsoft going, hey, listen, you affect our stock prices now. So you got to fix these numbers right here, or we'll fix them for you, bud. And I think they see Activision and what they've done, and they go, why can't we just do what Activision does? So it is this weird situation where Microsoft buys Activision, but Activision actually changes the person that purchases them. And it's an existential crisis for Game Pass for the reason of 30 million people have it. When you look at that, that's great. 30 plus million people, that's awesome. They expected that number to be closer to 100 million, right? And I think there was like some really bullish number of hitting 100 million in 3 years from now. Call of Duty's install base is that of, if it's a bad game, low 20 million, and if it's a good game, it gets closer to 30 million each and every year. So just the math alone, Call of Duty does not propel Game Pass to that number. Even if it may attract some people on PlayStation, maybe some people that held off on Call of Duty for a long time, it doesn't propel people. It will not propel that number to go hit that 100 million. But what it can do is buy Microsoft more time. Because I would think if I'm Microsoft, there is a hidden growth percentage. So what all these companies want, it's not about profits because Game Pass is profitable. It's about growth. There is a growth number that they want to hit. And if Call of Duty cannot hit that number, and I think it would be pretty high because it is the world's most popular IP next to Grand Theft Auto, well, then there is an identity crisis at Microsoft Gaming because Xbox's core identity needs to change. That said, it is then number 2 on the list, which is this gives Microsoft the opportunity to change Game Pass and how Game Pass works with the addition of the Activision tiers. So the one thing that people aren't going to like to hear is that Game Pass is going to go up and not every single game is going to be day one on Game Pass. And that is something I think that is frightening them. And that's why it's been taking them so long to announce all these changes because yes, the price of Game Pass is going to go up.
Do you think that's going to happen before they just get rid of Game Pass? Or why would they just be like, Game Pass is done?
Because Game Pass still gives them $3-4 billion a quarter, so it still makes them money. They just want to see that money tick up. It's a really delicate situation that they have because their core audience is this, but at the same exact time, what we have gone to learn is that Game Pass is teaching their consumer base you don't need to buy games. So they need to reteach them, hey, buying games is important. It's why, you see them go, no, we're going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation because that's going to give them money, right? It's why you even see Phil go, yeah, we're going to find out how we could get World of Warcraft on places outside of PC because they want that money. So again, it's a really sticky situation that Xbox finds themselves in. And I always think it's ironic because it is through their success that they hit this wall.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to hit the metrics that Satya probably wants them to.
Yes. Todd is spitting out some fire in the chat.
What's Todd saying?
Todd said, who in the mainstream knows that Xbox owns COD? No one right now, Todd, right as of right now. But you better believe at this summer showcase, they better make that very clear.
Right.
So
and you're going to see Game Pass, Xbox at the end of each and every trailer. And you'll be made aware. And hopefully this gives Game Pass the marketing it needs to make average folks go, what is a Game Pass? And maybe they look it up and maybe they're interested in it. But yeah, I feel like first off, the celebrations will be at E3, where it's like, oh, all these games, and then
Yes.
very soon after, you got the but it goes up in price.
Todd also said, do people on PC want to play COD on Game Pass?
Yes.
Or do PlayStation simps want to buy an Xbox to sub to COD on Game Pass? Getting Call of Duty on Switch 2 is probably the best move for Microsoft. Sorry, shout out to Nissa Hauer. She also said something about Pentiment. We'll get to that in a second. Nissa, sorry, Nissa, you've had a lot of stuff in the chat, so I haven't read all of them. And Todd, last point, said I better see COD on Game Pass and Xbox on NFL games this fall. And shout out to Todd. He put out his little survey here. Will you buy Game Pass for Call of Duty? And he offered these answers. Yes, I already have Game Pass. No, I'm playing on PS4 or PlayStation. And no, I'm playing on Steam. And of these almost 100 polls or votes in the poll, only 4% said they would buy Game Pass for Call of Duty. 73% already have Game Pass and will be enjoying Call of Duty. No, I'm playing on PlayStation is 20% almost. And no, I'm playing on Steam. I don't think it's going to move the needle that much. But before I throw it over to Bacon, I do think I heard, Jose, correct me if I'm wrong, or Nissa on Bitcast, I think it was Travis saying, does it even matter though if nobody switches to Xbox? Because they're still going to be making the money on PlayStation, on PC. Like, is it really that big of a deal? So, Bacon, you're big on PlayStation, or not PlayStation, on Call of Duty coming to Game Pass. Explain to me why you think this is going to do anything.
Well, I just looked it up again, and it has not been confirmed to be cross-gen. If Microsoft is smart,
interesting,
they won't release it on, like Grub is saying here, on PS4 and Xbox. And that forces the normie casuals who are still playing on last gen, who are playing their Fortnites. And not only is this going to be good for Xbox, this is going to be good for Sony as well, because it's going to force the PS, because I saw a stat the other day, it says almost half PlayStation players
PS4
are still playing on last gen.
Yep.
This is the kind of title that will force people to adopt the current gen that's almost 4 years old at this time. If you haven't upgraded, you're either not going to upgrade or you have no more excuses to upgrade. So this is going to push hardware for both platforms.
But Bacon, what if Warzone still exists on everything?
People still, like, I keep the multiplayer just to rank up guns.
That is
for Warzone. So there's a lot of people who do just play Call of Duty and are happy on last gen. So I'm really praying that this is going to be a current gen only situation.
A $250 Series S bundle.
Right. It won't push the needle on PC.
$200. Get them in.
PC's always current gen. But if they're doing what I think they're going to do, and they're going to abandon a lot of people if they do this, but there is time to rip the Band-Aid off and just get away from last gen, because Hellblade proves what current gen can do. And to address Deja Vu asked earlier how it's doing on console, Hellblade, and watching Digital Foundry today,
what a video. Oh man, what a video.
I've never heard John Linneman gush over a game like he did over Hellblade.
Gush over an Xbox game.
Right. And I was just like, whoa. So do I think it's going to move the needle? I do think it's going to move the needle. I think it will move the needle for Game Pass.
If what you're saying comes to fruition with the cutting off the previous generation.
But no, and that's the thing. They have to make it known. You're correct. They have to make it known this is owned by Xbox. It is going to be in Game Pass day one, and it's not going to cost you anything extra. Because on the same aspect of marketing, when my best friend Mike texted me the other day and asked, hey, is Hellblade free on anything right now? And I'm like, it's on Game Pass, which you just canceled 2 weeks ago, my guy.
Yikes.
How did a Game Pass subscriber not know a game was in Game Pass? I
have an answer for you. Deja Vu plays the same 3 games. Hades 2, Call of Duty, Diablo 4.
That's fair.
Why would he know it? Like, that's my biggest thing with Game Pass, is that not everybody is like the 4 of us who wanted to play all these different games.
Hogwash.
A majority. What, I don't know what the percentage is. Probably what, like, I can't imagine. They just play these life games that take over, and it's the same games over and over and over again. So I don't know, but that's why he didn't know. That's
Right.
why he didn't know that it was on Game Pass, which is sad. But
And that's the thing. I think Bacon adds a really good point, and I think this is
What?
very yeah. You have one every now and again,
Ooh, salsa.
but like this, someone has to be the brave one out there and rip the Band-Aid off. The problem is that the money with the last gen consoles, right? Like the money that you're possibly leaving on the table hurts really bad. Disconnecting folks from potentially like Warzone, that may rub some people the wrong way, but there does come a time where it's like, okay, Warzone maybe can stay on Xbox One and PS4, but the new stuff, it's coming over. Like it needs to. And the only problem with that is the money that you leave on the table could be someone going, okay, then I'm just not gonna play Call of Duty anymore. And that's the thing that probably scares someone who is high up there. And it puts pressure once again of delivering, because if, let's just say, theoretically, the worst case scenario, it doesn't move the needle for Xbox in any way, that's an existential crisis. It's really bad if it doesn't. But I think they do have to take that leap and go, you know what? It's time. We can't be supporting all these platforms at once.
It's time to move on.
Let's it's time.
We're 4 years in. Are we going to get a PS5 Pro here, or what's going on with that?
I mean,
It's gonna be announced next week in that super secret showcase.
who
Insider
knows?
knowledge.
Who knows? My uncle has been telling me all sorts of things.
Chipotle Bear closing thoughts on COD coming to Game Pass.
So I'll be honest with you. I've kind of flipped my thought process a little bit after last week. I think when I talked about it, I was like, they have to put it or it's the end of Game Pass. And honestly, Nissa was correct in the chat. It was Ty Guy who said this. And I was like, that's a great point. I don't know what I'm not thinking about. The truth is, Microsoft, I think, does want it in Game Pass. And of course, they would prefer that gamers come into the Game Pass ecosystem. But I think, honestly, at this point, Game Pass is a long-term play. Like, I think that they have stopped trying to bank on Game Pass being a, like, let's pull over PlayStation users, let's pull over, like, Nintendo users. It's more of, like, if they're there, that's great. But, I mean...
It's like, Jose, it's like what Phil said. It's just one of the pillars of how we get our games. You
Correct.
can buy them, you can be on Game Pass, or you can stream them.
But the truth is, they make billions of dollars a year just from COD. Just from the sales of COD, just from the microtransactions in COD, they're going to make billions of dollars. And granted, yes, they want to make back the $70 billion that they've spent, because that's a lot of money. But the truth is, Joe, you brought this up. You also said, like, they're teaching people that they don't have to buy games. I think people already know that.
Yeah,
I
was going to say,
we're from the generation of, like,
They're
we
right.
buy physical copies, physical forever. We want the collector's editions and the statues. Like, I'm just as guilty. Look behind me. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that the truth is that a lot of the youth of today, and that really means the future of gaming, that's not how they play games. They play free games. They play the Fortnites. They play the free part of Halo and Call of Duty and everything. And so I kind of weirdly think this is just a ploy to get ahead of that change a little bit, to try to say, like, we've got to find ways to monetize this, because there is money in gaming. It just looks differently, right? The other piece of it, I wonder, and I think it was Ains that actually brought this up, so credit to him. If and when it's on Game Pass, do you think we're going to get a discount in the COD store if you're a Game Pass subscriber? Like, can I buy the season pass for 10%
Yeah,
cheaper?
they're talking about that. Do you think that's really going to say, oh, I'm going to save 10% on my
Well,
battle
you
pass?
You
spend a
have
lot
to,
of
but
money.
like,
Xbox.
I mean, when skins are $20 or the battle pass is
Dude, some of them are
$30,
dude, have you
I
seen
mean,
the
it
Fortnite
adds up.
ones?
I mean, Joe, how many skins in Fortnite do you have?
I'd rather not discuss it.
That's fair. And no shame. But I'm saying, if you would save 10% after you buy 10, it's like you buy 10, you get one free. I mean, like, that's
Right.
as crazy as that sounds, like, that is enticing. And if you're the gamer that's on PlayStation or PC and you're used to just buying your copy, but all of a sudden you realize, like, hey, if I just buy it on Game Pass, I'm actually going to save money. Plus, I can play all these other kind of cool games that I've kind of heard of. I heard Hellblade's dope, or they're dropping, Football Club 2024. Like, all of a sudden, it's not a totally terrible idea. Joe's looking up his Fortnite characters right now. I'm excited to hear that number. I mean,
I'm going to start the scroll, and then you're going to see.
I just remember when you bought Moon Knight. That's a long time ago, but I distinctly remember that on the thing.
I
Which is
bought
a great
Master
choice.
Chief and Kratos.
That's dope too. You're gonna get the Fallout stuff that just came out. That looks dope too.
Anyway, so back.
I got Ahsoka.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Now we're in the locker.
Live
Let's see.
update. Let's cut
Okay.
him out.
He's scrolling.
my
Oh, boy.
Oh my!
Oh,
Those
wow.
are ones you purchased?
I mean,
Come on.
there's some battle pass stuff in here. Let me just get your reactions.
All right,
This
live
is just all
stream,
of the outfits, like even in the battle pass.
like when you were a child and you did like math and there was just like grids
Oh,
upon
my.
grids.
Oh.
That is Joe's.
And those are all like, aren't those like $30 or something stupid over there?
I don't know. Wow. I own one. I own
Joe's a
one.
whale.
Still
thing
haven't,
for
still,
it.
have, still haven't played.
Here's all the stuff I definitely bought. Because I don't think I have any.
One.
Oh, I have, like,
You go-
a
look at
couple
the
of
chief right there. That's one I wish I had. Let's go down.
I got Kylo.
Just go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,
Dang.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 times 3. What is that, boys?
There's some
78.
dupes.
78.
There's some dupes.
Oh,
78
let's just times 20.
skins.
Oh my God, Joe. I don't-
How much money?
Joe, you could have built your PC. Holy shit.
No.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
so my point stands, right? And none of that is confirmed. That's speculation. But I'm just saying, like, it is an enticing.
These two are
thing.
from the battle pass. Same with Mr. Meese. No, Mr. Meese.
Mr. Meese.
Joe
Meeseeks
easily
from
spent $1 grand
Wolverine.
on skins, you guys.
Wolverine is a special battle pass character. This anime character, I like.
He's still going.
She's from the battle pass, but it pisses off Luke that I'm this anime girl.
Oh.
These two are the same skin. which is
Todd
nice to
Todd
do that.
says, Joe, that OnlyFans would have been a better investment for you.
Oh,
He's got
OnlyFans.
two.
Nice.
Joe does have an OnlyFans. Subscribe.
It's also from the
at
battle
Mr.
Sorry
Bad
to,
Man.
sorry to cut you off, Jose. Todd Oster said Xbox should be a hybrid and let PC be the big boy. Avoid the
Spider-Man though.
I agree. I think that's a great idea. And then just have the handheld be your console. And then you're right. And then just leave the premium console space and then just go. If you want that experience, build a PC. If you want the casual experience, have a small hybrid like a Switch. That might be a good idea, Todd.
Get Aloy.
Shout out to Silk in it. Joe you could think of all the games you could
I'm
have bought.
falling asleep seeing Aloy on the screen again.
Oh, you got that
Look at
right.
my wife, Raven. Huh?
He's still going, folks. I've never seen so many saved skins.
That's
Catwoman's
kind of dope.
from
I'm not
the-
gonna lie. I think it's dope.
Catwoman's from the.
Shout out to
from
Pomps
Battle
too.
Pass.
He bought Chapulín Colorado, which is like a very well-known Latino character. That's awesome. I didn't know he was in Fortnite. That's right.
He says he doesn't
Lara
even play
Croft.
Fortnite, but he bought it to have
Lara
it.
Croft. She's from.
All right, Joe, enough with the freaking skins. All right, shout out to Nessa. The Celtics beat the Pacers. They're up 2-0. Shout out to the Celtics. Please win it all for us. Guys, that has been the Xbox and gaming news for the week. Joe is still going over there. I don't know what that snake thing was.
I mean, come
let's
Joe,
go.
you need to do that on a show. You need to rank your skins. That's a whole trophy room show right there.
I got
Content.
It's my wife Chung Li over here, you know, for reasons. You know, I'm but a man.
Respectfully.
I am but a man. Also, this is from the Battle Pass. This also pisses off Luke.
Gentlemen, let's jump
When do
into
you think Eve's going to be on there from Stellar Blade?
Oh,
I
matter
know
of
you're
time.
buying that.
Matter of
Predator.
Culture did,
Predator
shout
is
out,
from the
Tom's.
Battle Pass.
I have the Predator also.
My God, what have we
Don't know
been
why I bought the
playing
Flash.
and or watching? Somebody mute Mr. Bad, but he's still counting up his Fortnite characters over there.
Battle Pass.
Bacon, let's go to you. So you kind of jumped out of Hellblade. What have you been playing in the meantime?
My eternal lifelong struggle with Hades 2. I almost had my first clear last night after like 118 attempts. Super duper hard, but there's way more added to Hellblade 2 than there was Hellblade 2. Hades 2 than there was Hades 1. Fantastic game. One of the reasons I love PC is early access. But the game that I'm wanting to spend more time with, but Hades 2 has stopped me from spending more time with, freaking Ghost of Tsushima.
What a game!
This
Just let me
PC,
skip the cutscenes, please.
this PC port is so phenomenal. Nixus is the best PlayStation studio.
Yeah,
Not
what
even
a
close.
snag, man!
How anyone let that? I don't know what they're going to do when they're done, because they're going to give us God of War later this year. I'm sure Spider-Man 2 later this year. What
I can't wait.
else is left for them to port? I mean,
Day and date, Bacon. Day
yeah,
and
well,
date.
I'm assuming that the PlayStation Studios are going to start building the PC versions along with the PlayStation versions, so then Nixus can get on that top secret IP I've heard they're working on from reliable sources. But playing that in super ultra wide, the amount of grass and stuff I'm getting on my screen from all the extra real estate, it is an absolute chef's kiss. I love the game on PlayStation as well. But 200 frames a second, super ultra wide. I got all the DLC. I got the DLC horse. I got the first DLC armor. So it's the best way to play the game when it comes to PC. It's so well done. I've had zero performance issues.
Nice.
I'm a fan of the samurai culture, so I just eat this stuff up for breakfast. And I had said a couple weeks ago that I thought Returnal was the best PlayStation IP, but you know, it's most likely Ghost of Tsushima.
You have to finish Ghost.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna platinum. And the best part is when I pop a trophy on my PC, I get the same sound I got on my PlayStation,
nice.
same visuals, but I'm seeing two of them because I'm also seeing the Steam achievement and the PlayStation. Then I go onto my PlayStation app and I see my progress and I see my trophies of what I need to do.
So will I get a separate? No, there is no separate, right? If I already have it, it'll just
it's separate PC trophies because my PS4
but I should
trophies,
just unlock it if I
my PS4 trophies did not transfer, so they're all new.
I have it on the PS5.
PS5. It does say in the app that it is the PS5 version.
Okay.
Yours might pop. Mine actually, no, I did play Ghost. No, I can't remember if I did it on PS4.
No, I think you played PS4.
So it is a phenomenal experience. I'm sure Jose is going to talk about it too, but that game is so freaking well done, and I'll give Sony credit when they deserve it, and they deserve it with Ghost. So
I agree. Shout out to Ghost of Tsushima. Calling it now, Silkenet said that Joe is going to buy the Eve skin for Fortnite. Definitely.
The skin suit Eve skin.
COD Oxtra said, when is Senua coming to Fortnite? Great question. I'm sure she's probably on her way.
I'm going to spend more money tomorrow. The battle pass is out, you know.
And then Todd Oxter said, Bacon, you watching the Shogun 1980s miniseries?
I don't know where you find that from. Is it on Hulu?
I have a real question. Bacon, are you still reading the book?
Yes, slowly but surely.
Good. What page are you on?
It's not good, bud. Taking some time, but I've been busy at work. So
no shame, bud. Summer's coming up. It's fine.
I'll go really quick here because I don't have much to add. I just played a lot of Hellblade, loved it. Still working my way through Final Fantasy VII Remake. Gosh, that game, I finally got out of the wall market, and then it's just I was playing as Aerith running through the slums. I'm like, oh, can you just let me play? Just let me be Cloud and kill some people, please.
Yeah, that's my problem with Rebirth. I loved Rebirth, and then I hit chapter 9, and I'm like,
the pacing is so bad. The dress,
it's awful. It's really bad. It's really bad.
9 and 13. I was like, oh my God, can we just get through this? Yeah, sorry. I hear it's worse than Rebirth, so I'm looking forward to that eventually on PC. But anyway, that's basically. Oh, Joe, I did want to tell you, we had a back-to-back Warzone victory. We were 1 win away for going for the nuke. We had 4 Rebirth wins, and it was incredible. These were insane endings. I wish I would have streamed or recorded all the endings. There was one part where me and Pack Attack were like severely outnumbered, reviving them in the smoke, like the most intense endings ever, and it was incredible. And I was like, I think if we win 5 in a row, you guys, we get to go for the nuke. And they're like, no, I don't know. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure. And then sure enough, we looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, we should have just hid and camped and just played for the win for the nuke. So we had a great night of Warzone.
It was
4
late.
wins.
It was so late.
Yeah, because we were like, it always happens.
We gotta go to work.
We go, okay, one more game. And then we went, well, we can't end on winning streak. Can't, and then it just kept going, Joe. It was an incredible run. So shout out to Warzone. What a blast. Love Rebirth Island. Chipotle Bear, what about you? What have you been playing before I throw it over to Joe?
So Hellblade was my big play this week, which again, I loved it, man. Despite I understand the criticisms and that stuff, but it was a quite an experience. Absolutely worth it.
Loved it.
I also still played a little bit of Evil West on the Ally when I'm portable, which is it's just great to jump in and have some fun. And then the other thing is I did finally also start Tsushima last night because I was like, I want to at least play something before the show this weekend. I basically just got past the scene where you're a child learning basically the fighting sets, right?
When do you have your first duel? Is that early on, Joe? I can't remember. Joe, you're muted.
My bad. Technically, yes, it is early on.
Okay. Did you get to that, Jose?
Well, is it?
Like
I mean, it's the duel with the uncle, like he's teaching you how to block and parry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I will say, because and again, running it on PC, like absolutely gorgeous game. Like I fully understand already why people love this game. I'm sure I'm gonna love the game. And I remember back like reading a Game Informer years ago about like it coming out and being like, this game sounds awesome with like the wind and the grass. So I'm very much looking forward to playing it. I want to take my time, but I also only have about 3 weeks to get through it because then I got to get prepped for Elden Ring for the new DLC because I still have,
I'm gonna wait until June to start prepping for that.
But you already have a PC character. I don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I got to build a PC character and get to that point in the game. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a great week. I'm now that kids are going to work, I'm a little less stressed at home, so I can play some more games. So it's all good, man. Other than that, just TV and stuff.
Joe, you know I have a character on every platform, right, Joe? Because you need to join me. You need to join me and get all the platinums, all the achievements on Steam and on Xbox. That's the next move if you really truly want to be the next Elden Lord.
God, why did we? Can we make a story? Can we talk about the news where we saw the Elden Ring trailer? We saw God. We forgot to
bring it up, Joe. God? What do you want to say? I actually
forgot about inflation and the presidential election. We just are like, oh my God, Mesmer. He's shooting fucking fire. Fire sticks again out of kingdom, and there's basket of fire guys. They're walking around. It's awesome.
That might be the reason we lose in Fantasy Critic because that's going to get a 10 out of 10, and it's gonna be amazing. It's going to be the game. As far as that's probably going to be game of the year. Shout out to Nissa Howard. She said played Pentiment until 4 a.m. I said shout out. I'm glad you're enjoying Pentiment. I just couldn't get into it. Speaking another game. And
man. First off, I love the Ghost of Tsushima love. I really do. I just can't wait till they mod it and I'm fighting Thomas the Tank Engine, which is actually like real talk. When y'all talk about PC gaming and all these expensive rigs, y'all forget I used to be a PC gamer, like a really brief stint. Honest to God, guys, the reason why PC gaming rocks is because you can mod Randy's Savage into any enemy in a game. That's what makes PC gaming awesome. You get to mod your character and make him look like the Mandalorian in Starfield.
Yeah, that's gonna get you into Starfield. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like that's how I played Starfield. Good. Yeah, that's how I played Starfield. I was just like, the exploration's bad. I'm just gonna pretend I'm the Mandalorian and take bounties, and that's what I did.
That's what that demo looks so sick.
It did look cool, but
it's awesome. So I'm like, that's the reason why I want to play on.
Hey Joe, sorry to interrupt you right here. Yeah. I gotta Jose, could you put Todd Oxter on a timeout? He said you Elden Ring people are weirdos. So can we put a little 5-minute timeout on Todd? So what have you been playing, Joe?
What have I been playing? I've been playing Warzone. I played a little bit of it. I'm still not good at Warzone. I'm getting better. I'm getting to understand how you move and what, because it's such a different game, outside the multiplayer. So I'm a Raptor man there. I've bought some skins there too. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, me too.
But also they gotta fix the skins.
Jose said you were just like
Leroy Jenkins out there.
You
just go. There's no strategy.
But that said, I've been playing a little game called where is it? Oh, that's Dave the Diver. Where are you? Oh, okay.
Did you get that Dave the Diver Godzilla DLC?
No, but I want to.
Yeah. You can go for that platinum for Stellar Blade?
Now, here's the ironic thing. When I beat the game, I'm like, I can platinum this game. I'm going to platinum it. And I'm like, but maybe I just hold off because there's some games I need to play for embargo purposes. And then I found out, oh, wait. If I get the platinum, because there's another game that I'm going to be playing next, and I know I'm going to platinum that game. But if I get the platinum in Stellar Blade, it will be my 69th trophy.
Oh,
you can't pass up an opportunity like that. So I platinum Stellar Blade. Nice. I really love Stellar Blade. I think the combat is just so freaking good. And
I hear the parry's whack. Is it whack like in what was the game
It's-
that had a weird parry too?
yeah,
long.
I think
Liza P had a weird parry.
yeah, not as weird as Liza P's parry, but yeah, it is something to get used to. Speaking of like reviews that trigger you, when people call Stellar Blade a Souls like, that's actually when I turn off the review because I'm like, oh, this person has no idea what they're talking about. It's an action adventure game, like it is
With a parry.
into.
Is it a Pornhub like?
I mean, yeah, depending on the skins. But like, even then, it's the combat's just so damn good, and the boss fights are so epic that's like, yeah, this team knew exactly. Again, it's like exactly what they wanted to make, and they executed on it so damn well. The only things that fall off for me is the story is not good.
Yeah.
And the translation. There's some things that are obviously lost in translation, which is a bummer, and the platforming. Because Eve moves so fast, there's some really aggravating platforming where if you miss it and you're at the very end, you start all the way at the beginning. And there's a lot of times where I miss an object because Eve is just so fast. So that said, I think its Metacritic is where it should be. I think an 80 is where I would have probably fell on this game as well. But man, it is a ton of fun. And now I do feel freed so that I could go off and I could play Tales of Kanzara Zhao and not feel like I'm being held back. I could go play Dave the Diver again because I was really enjoying myself. And then finally get to Rebirth when it stops being up its own ass. And it's just I would even argue there's sometimes where I have to go back and forth. I'm like, which is the thirstier game, Rebirth or Stellar Blade? There's moments and
Nailed it.
Tifa.
Yeah, I know. Anytime there's Tifa on screen, it's like, all right, guys, we get it. She's got big old bazungas. Let's relax. All right, stop painting the camera there, Nomura.
A lot.
You know, but yeah, I really enjoyed my time with Stellar Blade, and I can't think of another game that I've really sunk in a whole lot into. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Stellar
Nice.
Blade. No.
Shout out to Silkinit in the chat. He responded to Todd, who said that my son told me Elden Ring was for tryhards, but Silkinit said Dark Souls 2 is for tryhards. Elden Ring has training wheels. That's kind of true. Did you beat Dark Souls 2? Have you beaten all of them, Joe?
Me? No. I've beaten
Sekiro, Bloodborne.
Yeah, well, the ones I've platinumed is Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring.
Nice.
I have
Me too.
beaten Dark Souls 3. I've played through Dark Souls 1, but I've not beaten that game. That was way back when. And I have played the platinumed Demon Souls because that platinum is stupid.
Yeah.
Because the world tendencies make no sense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't even start up.
I would have the platinum if world tendencies made sense. But it doesn't, and that sucks.
Yeah. Joe, I was thinking about the Sekiro one. Like when I got 1,000, I thought like, oh God, never again. That was insane. Like I was thinking about that. What a nightmare. That I had to cheese that.
How many times did you delete that game? Because you just got so frustrated. Dozens for me.
The Night Owl, though, that fight in the flames, like that's where I finally felt like a badass. Like I had that down and I dominated him. But the final
Owl father fight there,
yes,
could eat my ass. That's the hardest fight.
That one was easy for me. The hardest one was Ishin or whatever. The final. Oh, I barely got through that.
Him.
Oh, that was terrible.
That.
That's where I have nightmares. Anyway, sorry, chat. Sorry, we're not going to talk about Sekiro, Dark Souls, Elden Ring much more.
For hours.
Oh, Todd, your son loved Sekiro. Oh God, what a nightmare.
It's a good kid. That's a good kid.
That's OP kid. Gentlemen, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Man, I don't know if you saw me on Elon's X platform, but I've been eating good. I've been tweeting about Little Caesars. Eating. Shout out the best food I had this week. I'll go quickly. Allie made these meatballs. I don't know what kind of special sauce she's putting in them. Oh my God. I just love just shoving all these meatballs in my mouth. They're so dang good, Joe. But the best food I had, just had it tonight. Check out my
I
tweet.
don't
on
like
it.
how you said my name.
The best
It's
food I
very
had.
provocative.
I went to Dairy Queen. I heard of this confetti cake dipped cone. My gosh, go watch my review on X right now. If you are at all a fan of funfetti or ice cream or just delicious ice cream treats, go to Dairy Queen, grab one now, and get the large, and just enjoy life. As Joe said earlier, we saw God. I saw God for about 2 minutes eating this confetti
Honestly,
cake dipped
I'm
cone.
never gonna trash Dairy Queen.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
the Reese's Blizzard is where it's at.
I mean everything. You're right. Let's be real. Everything's there. So that was the best food I had this week. Joe, what about you?
Honestly, I'll say shout out to Dairy Queen because for people that don't know, I work at a place that it's a group home for people with autism, and
I didn't know that.
Mother's Day was what is it, a week or two ago?
Yeah.
And one of our clients, they don't have a mom, and it's a rough time for them. So I literally volunteered to go. You know what? I'm gonna take you out because they're having like a little celebration.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you out. Where would you like to go?
Dairy
And he said, that's how he said, Dairy Queen. All right, let's go. Let's fucking go, my dude. You know, I said, I go, we got to go to your two favorite places, Dairy Queen or McDonald's. Dairy Queen. And like he runs up and he's as happy as all can be. He's like he doesn't, they don't even get a like, what can we do? He's like, branding perfection. I'm like, he knows what he wants, you know? And that was a very pure moment. But I would say for me, I couldn't eat anything on the right side of my mouth for 2 weeks because I was waiting for a dental crown to come in. Humble brag. Bad genetics. Yeah. And so I was just like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna have my first cheat day with this whole losing weight thing, and I'm gonna go to an old-fashioned sub place. Here in Jersey, we have sub places.
You went to Jersey
really
Mike's.
No,
Cheesesteak.
Joe
No.
will slap you in the face.
No. If you ever wanted to assassinate me, there's
You like
sometimes
Jersey Mike's. You said that was a good
No,
cheesesteak
it's a good chipotle cheesesteak. I'm not here to trash on it. I went to Angelina's, and that's where, again, local shop in North Jersey, holler, and they have, again, if you ever want to assassinate me, sometimes every like month I give myself a little treat. So wait outside a month, and then you can give me a good old fashioned JFK through a grassy knoll, and there's like a good window where you can do it. Anyway, so they had like a rice ball and a sub, and I'm like, I'm taking both. Dude, I need this in my life. And man, it is talk about meatballs. This is the best rice ball you can ever have in your life. You got your peas in there, you got your meat. I think it's beef. It tastes delicious. And it got some mozzarella in there. Ooh-wee. It tasted so damn good. And now for the trash food, you know what I had today?
What?
I was hungry and I needed something. A Popeye sandwich. Spicy.
A what?
Popeye sandwich.
Oh, Popeyes.
That's good. It's a good sandwich.
The best.
Healthy, protein, reasonably priced. Come on.
I mean, it's really good. I spent $7 and I felt like a king. And I got like a water with it and just the sandwich, and I was like, oh wow, my stomach doesn't like this anymore.
Oh no.
I'm gonna shit my brains out this morning. But it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. So that's what I've had.
All right. Well, Jose, you heard it here. You need to add one. Also, I need you to add 2 pizzas for me as well, and a QPC and a Big Mac.
Oh,
Jesus. Okay, hang on one
How
second.
the fuck does he look that good?
Joe,
You didn't
none
watch
of us know.
Joe, that's
None of
all
us
I
know.
eat. Like, people don't realize I'll go the whole day. I won't eat anything. Then I'll eat that, and I'm working out. So I'm at a caloric deficit still, but I keep track of everything. It's a
All right,
horrible
everybody,
existence.
listen.
I'm hungry. Joe, I'm hungry right now. My stomach is going insane right now.
Dan,
I just want to
take
eat.
your shirt off. I just want the audience to see.
We're gonna
this
get
bullshit,
demonetized up in here.
Let's come on. I don't believe it. I think there's a fat man in there.
He's not.
Respectfully.
It's
Yeah, no, it would piss me off. It's off
Well,
a shirt. It's like an 8-pack. It's not
No,
even,
so yeah, so yeah, I look on the outside, but Todd says I have clogged arteries and clogged pipes on the inside, so that's what I have going for me. So
You did
thanks,
get
Todd.
hospitalized a couple
Todd,
weeks.
you saw my blood work. I'm pulling it up right now. Go ahead.
No,
Bacon.
we don't
What was
need
the
to
best
see your
foods
blood
you
work.
had
This week I had a incredible week of food. In hindsight, I'm a little worried I should probably just go down and have some salad tomorrow. But I also had a good old Popeye sandwich. We went to go Saturday to meet my wife at the mall, and that's where Popeyes was there. It was great. My whole family had it. It was delicious. I also had Chipotle tonight with the family. Like I just got home from work. I was tired. I was like, we had a gift card. Let's go to Chipotle, it was great. Barbacoa burrito. No complaints. Everything was there.
Barbacoa.
also shout out.
Oh, I love that. That's the Tabasco I use too, Joe. The Chipotle Tabasco on my Chipotle burrito is clutch.
If they don't have it, I literally get upset, and that's why I have this all around.
I have one in
Chipotle's changed my life because of this sauce right here.
Super good, dude. Good choice. And then I had a couple pizzas this weekend from 3 different places in the last week. Weirdly, we had it from Perry's, and then from when I was playing Hellblade, that's when I stopped to get lunch. I had Pizza Hut, and then today Domino's. None of them are like amazing pizza. Actually, Paris is pretty good. The others are pretty mid, but they were delicious, man. No complaints. So it was a good week of food. I'm gonna go have a salad tomorrow. Don't worry.
Can I tell you guys a quick story and then we get off?
Yeah.
Right.
Wait. Save it. Let's Bacon have his food because he probably had cabbage
sorry.
this week.
I did not. And a hot take, Shake Shack is the best.
It is. That's not
burger.
that's
Yeah,
true.
it's
not a hot
objectively
I
take.
true.
had a double bacon cheeseburger and the cheese
Incredible.
fries. It's
Lucky.
Only problem though. The
What's that, buddy?
price.
it's expensive. My
Oh,
wife's and my meal was $38.
Oh,
And we didn't get drinks. We never get drinks. We always drink water, but it's like $38 for 2
Oh,
burgers
that's
and 2
insane.
fries. It was insane. And then tonight you can add me a QPC. Don't know if you saw that in the chat. So so Shake Shack, everyone should go try Shake Shack.
Big Shack's great. It's like, and it is like a once in a
It's expensive.
like a
Oh my
quarter.
gosh.
you
It's
know?
like Taco Bell expensive now.
yeah.
It's
Well.
weird to say, but you're right.
Joe, let's hear
Okay.
your story.
All right. Here's the. Yesterday, we wanted to try a new pizza place. Okay.
And the
And
land
I-
of pizza, of course, you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And we call them up, and I go, "Hi, my name's blah blah blah. I'd like to order a pie for a pickup." Right? And we're gonna try like a few things, right? They're gonna order a pie. I was gonna have a nice chicken parm, and I go. He goes, the oldest man in the world answers. He's like, "Hi, hello, how are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, can I have a large pizza and can I get a pepperoni and can I get?" And he's like, "I'm gonna stop you there. We don't have pizzas right now." I go, "Oh," and then he goes, "I swear to God, he didn't have to add this next part, but he did." He goes, I forgot to turn the oven on."
We don't.
Like, what? That's what you guys do. This is your thing. You have one job, old man. And I'm like, okay, let me call my brother back, whatever. And so I'm like, I'll call you back. Let's see. He's like, okay, I could get you something else. I'm like, you're a pizza place. And because my mom was dead set on this. She's like, I really would like this, whatever. I'm like, okay. So I call my brother up. And we're like, okay. My brother's like, get me like a fettuccine Alfredo. I was like, okay. Call up. I go through the order. They have chicken parms, so we're ordering chicken parms for everybody, right? And then I go, and lastly, I'd like a chicken Alfredo. He's like, oh, we don't do chicken Alfredo here. We have the chicken on the bone, and also the old man doesn't answer. His wife, and she is on the verge. I'm talking like, am I talking to hospice care? What are we doing? She's like, yeah, we don't do that. I'm like, okay, God damn it. Let me call you back one more time. I go to my brother. I go, they don't have that. He's like, you gotta be out of your goddamn mind. All right, just get me where you're getting. I call him back and I go, okay, get another chicken parm. Okay, sweetheart, can I get a name? I go, yeah, Joseph. Jerry? No. Joseph. John. No, Joseph. And I spell it for. I'm not being like a dick. I'm like J-O. And she's like, I'm just gonna put Joe. I'm like, whatever helps you at this point, lady. whatever helps you. And then I start like giving her my number, and I go 111 wait, sorry, 1 second. And I have to I'm like, okay, 2, 2, 3, 3, yes, 3. And I'm like walking her through it, and then I'm not done yet. Because the world's telling me like the train tracks blocking.
You're still going through with this place at this point.
We're still going through it for my mother. She
That's
really wants
commitment.
it. She wants to be something different, and I'm like, okay, fine. And then like there's a package kind of blocking the door, and she's like, "Oh, sweetheart, could you help me bring this package in and just put it near the register for me? I didn't know it's gonna be so heavy." And I'm like, all right, whatever, you cute old lady. And then like they also told us get here in 15 minutes. I'm like, that sounds fast. That's alarming fast
For like
but I'm gonna
8
take
chicken
your word for it.
parms.
Exactly. It's like that's a lot of chicken parm. Like this is a bear situation. I get there, I park 15 minutes. They go, "Oh, honey, you came a little bit soon." And then I helped. Like you told me in 15 minutes. Whatever. I put everything there, and then like it's the most awkward small talk. She's like, "Oh God, I'm gonna need a jacket. It's so cold in here." I'm like, it is cold. Yeah, in here. Oh, I mean, it's very hot outside. It is very hot outside. Yes, it is. But I prefer the hot. It's very nice.
How was the chicken?
What was
parm,
your
though?
name again? And I'm like, it's Joe. And the chicken parm was okay. 3 out of 5.
It's a lot of work for chicken parm.
Yeah. I think the chicken parm's consistency was there, just not enough. Now, I will say, if you want the best chicken parm of your life, you go to the Mountain House in Spark Hill, New York. So if you ever want to, again, fight me in the streets, assassinate me, I go there pretty frequently. So you're not going to have to wait like a month. You're going to see me there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make quick work of me.
But
But
back
there
to the
are a lot
Southern
of kids
restaurant.
there.
Are you
Yeah,
going to go
sorry.
back and try? Are you going back first of all? And
For
are
the
you
pizza.
actually
If they
gonna
have
try
the
the
ovens on.
pizza? Are you going back?
I hope so, man. I want more of these. I like this couple. I'm kind of like committed.
He's committed.
Now, the other warning too about this place is that it's a converted home. So like it's in a neighborhood, like cul-de-sac, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
walking, I'm like, this is someone's house. Like this is the living room's just like
Not zoned for
truly-
an eatery.
exactly for somehow and like back in the 1950s when it made sense. But yeah, no, it was something. It was something.
I don't even know where to go from here, boys. Gentlemen, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 160. Hellblade 2 is a win for gaming. My name is DaddyDWALLY. You can follow me at DaddyDWALLY across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat on all social media. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me Chipotle Bear on most things, or Chipotle underscore Bear.
You
on
gotta
Twitter.
put it all under one, Jose. You gotta just accept
I
it.
try, dude. I can't get it like the one. It's fine. Chipotle Bear. Look, you'll find me. I'm not hard to find. Shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. We had some new people soaking it. Obviously, great to see you, man. Pomps, good to see you again. And then totally new guy, Ron Savoy, I think. was his
Savoy
name. Ron
Prime.
Savoy.
That's Savoy Prime, yeah.
Great to see you, bud. Thank you for all the regulars. Todd, of course, Nissa, Deja, great to see you guys. If you are new and like and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Just trying to grow little bit by bit so we can get like Mr. Bad Bit. How about that?
Yeah.
Also, huge shout out to Joe. Great to have you, buddy. And, as we get into summer and a bunch of showcases and stuff, lots of fun, man. Excited for the future of all games for all
PlayStation
people.
next week, apparently. Joining me as always, X Bacon Gaming. Where can people find you?
You can find me licking my Colorado sports wounds over here in Denver.
It's just the Rockies now.
God. X Bacon Gaming on your socials, Steam, and on PlayStation Network, because I'm part of the PlayStation Network now on my
That's
PC.
PC.
Cross play, cross chat,
Let's
party
go.
chat, everything. Thanks everyone for stopping by and chatting. You guys are awesome. You drive the show with all your comments. Really appreciate it. Thanks to my mortal enemy Joe over there. We fight all the time on the X's, but he's my boy, so
I love you.
And shout out to Mr. Bad Bet Joseph Moran from the Trophy Room on PlayStation Podcast. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where usually each and every week, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things gaming each and every Wednesday night over on youtube.com/PS Trophy Room at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on podcast services the very next day. Please rate us 5 stars. It really help us out and all that good stuff. You already know. Follow me over at Mr. Badbit when Elon allows me to talk over on platform X.
It's rare.
X sucks. It sucks there, and we're addicted to. I'm addicted to
I'm
it. I
addicted
hate
to it.
As always, X platform lovers, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
you online.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase, trademark, not to use the outside tradition of Ricky Bobby.
The Nerd Chat is an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. You can follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. The show was created by Daniel Wolenzik, and you can follow him at DaddyDWALLY. The lead producer and co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear. And former intern, recently promoted co-host Jason Jarrett can be found at XBaconGamin'. If you'd like to find out more about the show, please visit nerdchatmedia.com. And as always, see you.